Hello YouTube fans, here again. And as I'm doing an 80s marathon, why not this one? I've done it like numerous of times. It's one of my favourite films. It's one of my favourite films by Woodard Hour. And it's one of my favourite films by, I can put it, Harrison Ford. Don't get me wrong. I like him all the Star Wars films, except for the new one, because he gets killed in it. I like Harrison Ford in The Fugitive. Good film. And let's not forget the classic. I could be criminal if I forget it. Film in my eyes, which is the best film I've ever seen him in. That being Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember reviewing it twice already. And I love all the Indiana Jones films. Whether it be The Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade. I'm not a lover of Tistol Stowe, but they're all fearful. I love. And this one. This is also a good one because it's became a total classic over the years. A total classic. That being Blade Runner. Now, I remember a few months ago reviewing Blade Runner the Director's Cut. And people might love me, they might hate me, but I was never a lover of the Ridley Scott's Director's Cut of Blade Runner. I'm not. I am the only known not to like the Director's Cut because I felt the Director's Cut. People loved the voice. People hated the voiceovers. Funny enough, I like the voiceovers. Harrison Ford did. People before even the director, Ridley Scott, preferred the ending what you see in the director's cut. I didn't. I thought it was depressing. He was on the run with his woman, and all this chat about he didn't know if he's a repetitor or not. Is Harrison Ford's character being debtor? Is he a repetitor or is he not? I didn't really give a shit. To me, he was a human being doing his job. He falls in love with a repetitor. He goes on the run. I love the ending, what you get in the theatrical. He dives off in the sunset. Yeah, it's a bit sloppy and cheesy. I love it. I even love the disco sort of music at the end. And before that, I mean, there's a lot of things I like about the theatrical. I'm more of a love of the uncut one because it had a lot more violence added on from the work print version, which I felt gave it more of an impact. Whether it's the theatrical or the director's for, or the uncut one, I like them. Theatrical or uncut. I was never a lover of the director's cut. The work print, seen it once, it's fine, but it's not the best. The decent thing you have to violence in, but they added them to the uncut version. The final cut, wow, they bettered out some of the effects. I don't give it due on that one though. The CGI was needed there and certain bits, but weren't all that good. But again, it wasn't that noticeable in the theatrical. So did it really needed doing? All we did was improve some of the effects without choking. Then we have a coffee, so I don't choke. So we get to Blade Runner. So Ridley Scott, as we all know, made it big in '79 with the classic sci-fi film Alien, and he decided to do another one, taking off this book called Electric Sheep. And that's when he decided to use the idea and called it Blade Runner. Now, we had to take a lot of tasks at this time. I don't know, I think originally he was going to have another actor play Deckard originally, and I don't know who it was. Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, I'm not looking it up. Dustin Hoffman was going to be considered the role. Now, at the time, Dustin Hoffman read it, thought it wasn't him, but at the same day, he was doing Tulsa, remember the classic comedy Tulsa, and he decided to go for that idea instead. So they looked, and at the time, Harrison Ford was doing Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's like funny, this bit where he's doing auditioning, and he's still got his Indiana Jones leopard jacket on, the hat and everything, reading the lines for Deckard, time testing story. And when he thought, yeah, he's going to be doing it good. We know him in Star Wars, we know him in Raiders. Why not? So we had his hair cut a little bit shorter. There's the man, Deckard. You got a lot of other good tasks, and you had Woodard Hour. Now, Woodard Hour at the time wanted to cut his hair shorter, dyed his hair a little bit more lighter, really dyed his hair right, cut his hair really, really short, and practically said almost saved his eyebrows at one point. He really even dyed his own eyebrows. Slimmed down, really wanted to get into this role. He was really, really into this role as the main villain. And it's one of them, was he a villain, was he a good guy? Now, it's based on the future, and this is the first time you got to see flying cars, fine this, fine that. But to be honest, it wasn't CGI. But you can definitely see how a lot of films influenced Blade Runner. No, a lot of music videos influenced Blade Runner. The hell with it. 1989, the classic sequel to Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2 sort of copied Blade Runner, the flying cars. This was the first time you got to see it. Now you've seen it that many times, you can make a drinking game out of it. Oh, based on the future, flying cars. But for its time, it was ahead of its time. For its time, it was ahead of its time. So you've got these ideas, these robots, sort of like robots, but they're sort of like man-made people called replicas. And they only have a lifespan. I was made me laugh, why kill them? They've only got so many months to live. But it's a film, I went with it. So you got one replica, you think you've seen the actor before, he's sadly no longer with us, may he rest. He played the villain in Tango and Cash, and he also played one of my favourite villains in House 3, The Honor Show. He's in this. Talking about toy choices or something like that, I thought it was quite laughable. And he says something about his mum. He says, "You want to know about my mum?" And then literally shoots him, kills him. I do remember on the work print one, though, it was a lot more graphic, so we'll do the work print one that. I've seen the work print one. But again, you've got to take voiceovers. Harrison Ford, for some reason, never liked doing the voiceovers, and I don't know why, because it felt like an old detective based on the future. So at the time, he's eating noodles, he's getting Chinese food, and you've got another guy in it, and he says, you're Blade Runner. And he says, yeah, what about it? And he gets sent out on this mission. Now, you do get another guy in it, and if you've seen him in an old TV show, which I love, being, how can I put it? Miami Vice, yeah. He was the one who played the captain, not the first captain in the first early series, because he got killed off. But the captain that stays into the end, the one out of Miami Vice, he's in this, and he's also plays the captain in this. Now I do know there was a lot of deleted scenes in the film. There originally was another version of the film which Ridley Scott saw, and he hated it. He hated it, and I saw the deleted scenes. I don't think they were that bad. There was few I thought I can understand why there was taken out of the film. They weren't really that needed. But there were other bits I thought I liked. There was a bit where Sean Lung, very attractive woman of that era, and you don't know if she's a replica or not. I know there was a sort of a sexy scene with him and Sean Lung with a deleted scene. It's a lot more sexier than what you see in the film. Believe me, it was. I've seen it. This was like well before you had 9.5 weeks, and it felt like 9.5 weeks with Harrison Ford in it and Sean Lung. It really did when I saw it. So you got Harrison Ford, he's been sent out to kill all these replicas, goes to a lap bar place, kills one there, and people thought it was cold-blooded, but I liked the voiceover because, not the time they're going pause, I thought I like it because you hear the voiceover, he didn't feel comfortable killing this woman in cold blood, but it needed to be done because it's his job, he's a freaking Blade Runner. Again, I like it because you don't see Harrison Ford having a red team with a freaking unicorn, which was in the director's cut. I believe it was also in the work print and all the other versions. To me, it was a human being. He was sent out and he falls in love with Sean Lung. Now, he kills him on the way. He kills one of the main villains, who I just said, based in House 3. I always love to see him when he says, time to die. But he gets shot in the head and dies. Again, you get the bonky scene along Sean Lung. He figures out she's a replica. And, but I do remember the main villain, again, my favourite actor, Rutger Hauer, kills that guy. Again, in the uncut version or work print, whatever version you want to say. A lot more graphic. And it does have that epic scene where he fights with him, and you think Rutger Hauer's going to kill him because basically Rutger Hauer killed his woman. You might remember playing in Splash. You have that epic scene, and you think he's going to kill him, but he doesn't. For some reason, Rutger Hauer saves him, and then he says, "I love them lines, mate. I just love them lines. If you could only see what I could see with my eyes," and he dies, and it's sad, and you feel for him. But the only bit I do admit, and I do admit this, that's the only bit what spoilt the film. It's the bit where Harrison Ford's voiceover, because you didn't really need his voiceover at that bit. So I will the director's cut that. They didn't have that bit in it, because I kind of thought that ruined it, you know what I mean? And I didn't really like the work print and how that was done. But so I will give it to there, the director's cut. That's the only one good thing. You don't have Harrison Ford's voiceover. I didn't think it was needed there, because Woodard Hour, believe it or not, made those lines up, and he actually asked Ridley Scott, could he use his own lines? And Ridley Scott said, yeah, because he knew he was a good actor, Woodard Hour. So them lines where he's dying, which is hard now because we know Woodard Hour's sadly no longer with us. But those lines, if you could only see with my eyes, they were actually lines that Woodard Hour, believe it or not, improvised when he made the film Blade Runner, or should I say starred in the film Blade Runner. So you got the scene, like I say, he fires off with this woman. The only time you ever see sunlight, because with Blade Runner, it was a dark film. And you got that scene where they actually used the opening of the signing. Remember the signing? And they put it in for the ending of Blade Runner. So you think the mills look similar to another film. There was in the signing. They just used the opening and mixed it for the end. So I like the original theatrical Blade Runner. Shoot me, I'm the only one that ever likes it. You know what I mean? But is it really an action film? No, there's a few actions here and there. There's a bit where he's shooting a woman in cold blood. There's a bit here where he's jumping across the buildings. But if you're really going into it for action, you're going to be disappointed. If you're going in for science fiction, it's definitely good science fiction. Now, I do know in 1982 there was a lot of films in competition. You know, you had John Carpenter's The Thing, you had Poltergeist, you had Sat People. There was a lot, and I mean a lot of films. And sadly to say, Blade Runner, because people thought, oh, it's going to be an action film. So Harrison Ford in it, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. You know, it's indie meets Star Wars sort of thing. That's what people thought at the time. They was disappointed because it wasn't that type of film. Even though I put it in the action films of 1982, it was not that sort of film. So people was like, ugh. But now over the years, it's become a so classic. And like I said, over the years, we realised we made a lot of different versions of Blade Runner. However, I'm talking about the original theatrical one, which today I still love. I love Blade Runner. I'm more of a lover of the theatrical, do like the uncut one. Seen the work print version, it's there. There's some deleted scenes that they was going to make another version of it. I'd love them to add the deleted scenes back in the film. Shoot me. I'd love to see it. Because I felt those deleted scenes would have given it a bit more of an impact. And one day when I'm talking about deleted scenes in a film, I might just add that on. I might add that on of films what I think, whether it be James Bond and so on, and might even add the deleted scenes I'm on about. But to them people, be smart, be safe, and I'll see you later for more movies and more movie reviews.